In my final story from Africa, we move south from Tanzania to Mozambique, one of the poorest countries in the world. The Rede Agro farm has begun crop production near the town of Garue. While seeking first to establish a commercially viable operation, Rede Agro also aims to improve the lives for the farmers of the area. A challenging 9-hour ride from Nampula brings us to the operation, which has cleared and planted over 3,000 acres of soybeans for this season. The crop looked good in late March, but it's still a long way from the bin. The plan is to continue to clear up to 25,000 acres, but at the same time begin building a new economy for the subsistence farms of the area. Chishomisho Mawoyo, the executive director, explains that one issue is simply demonstrating how employment works.
There have been bad examples of investment managers. There have been bad examples of employers. So take, for example, the other farms we worked on the banana farms, when the rainy season starts, guys would rather skip work for 4 days out of 6 days in the week because he's now working on his own private patch of land, because he's been burnt before when he's worked for a cotton farm or when he's worked for this other farm and he never got his wages on time. So he doesn't know if he can trust this employment stuff. Is it going to work, or am I better off with my little subsistence patch that I've always kept? By setting a slightly different model, we can hopefully get more people to believe that good employment is the right way to go in economic development.
By involving dozens of extension farmers, not only employed workers benefit
and receives agronomic support from Aurelio every week. Then the second leg are people that received seed. They receive weekly agronomic assistance. They also received planting assistance. We brought our 4-row planter, and they also receive light disking just before the planting. Call it cultivation, that we do for them before we plant.
These extension efforts have been met with enthusiasm by local participants like Gencio de Glace, who went from planting a few hectares of soybeans by hand to using a 4-row planter from Rede Agro. The productivity boost was enormous.
He says, I'm very proud of this help that I've gotten from Radio Agro, because in my own strength, in my own way, I would have never been able to farm or to even dream of farming an area that is this large.
The local community is deceptively large, with perhaps as many as 2,000 in the nearby village of Ruwasi. The need for economic development is starkly obvious, as evidenced by the local orphanage and the work of Peace Corps volunteer Sabrina Fairchild.
You know, we really try to keep a close eye on where the kids are.
At the local clinic, she helps monitor the health of children, especially during this time of hunger, before the maize reaches what we would call the sweet corn stage. Something as simple as a standardized record and routine weighing of infants has improved infant mortality significantly. But as the local health officer explained, the most basic needs are still a challenge.
The most challenges and difficulties are, one, the lack of good, safe water to drink. 2, the lack of good, safe toilets to use, safe latrines. And 3, some of the people that they work with here, lack of skills.
Like his North Dakota pioneering ancestors, Wally Hardy is writing history on a difficult frontier.